up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Supreme Talk. And today I have my special guest, Jeeves.
Wait, what was the other name you had?
I have no idea. But no, today with me is a good friend of mine. His name is Shane. Shane, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
That's great to hear.
It's a pleasure. Got loose handshake.
Really?
You want to try that one more time? Yeah,
Really?
okay.
God damn it, man.
It's alright.
A little sensitive and shit. Alright, today we wanted to actually explore something because it's something I'm actually going through right now. But it's where you define passion and persistence when exploring or even chasing your dreams. So I'm going to let Shane start off with this one because he's our guest.
No, it was just something that we were talking about because you can have a 9-to-5 job, you can go to college, you can settle on certain aspects of your life that it's like, I guess this is good enough that I can wake up every day and not want to blow my brains out, you know. No, it's true. I mean, you have to make enough to survive.
Right.
And sometimes even a little less than that.
Right.
And it's like, well, suppose you have a dream, suppose you have something in the back of your mind that you know you're able to do, and if you were just given the shot or the opportunity, or you don't know how to make your own opportunity or something like that, whatever it is.
Right.
For me, it's artwork. For me, it's, concept art and stuff, which isn't a very progressive industry. In fact, the way that I do my work and stuff is going by the wayside. You know, if you're looking to get into comics, make your own books, really what you have to do is just, know your audience, and then just shoot for the stars, pretty much. Just work as hard as you can, and have a clear idea of what you need to work on every day to get to your end goal.
And I'm actually glad you say that because at some point I actually had stopped doing everything that I was doing. And I started with YouTube. Now my original end goal was 30 videos because I figured I'd cover everything I need to cover in 30 fucking videos.
Was that per week?
No, that was 30 videos, period. Like, I was not looking to have a channel where I actually just posted probably an hour ago where starting next Wednesday, I'm going to do 100 videos in 100 days to end out the year.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, I have content right now for the next 2 weeks. And the funny thing is, my end goal has moved, but the one thing that actually allowed me to be persistent was the fact that I did have a, support base that allowed for me to continue my persistence. Because so many of us get caught in that trap to where we cannot chase our dreams because at some point you get hungry, you got to eat.
Yeah.
You got stupid shit like bills. You have dumb shit like, oh, I want to keep the lights on. Spoil people's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have that, so dreams go by the wayside, resentment builds in, and then you become something else.
Resentment against yourself.
And a lot of times that's taking out or manifested on partners. It's manifested on the children. It's manifested on to those that are around us.
Sure.
Some of us turn into other things such as drinking and drugs, and it goes into other things such as depression and alcoholism. And it's one of those things is, where is that line drawn? Because for me, you are an uber talented artist. And the flip side of that is I would like to see what it is that you're able to put together. But like you say, you still have these stupid things in front of you, like bills and lights and eating. Selfish ass. And I think a lot of us try to figure out where that line is.
Yeah, I still haven't figured it out for myself. But I know my biggest problem is like you had mentioned, either something, the priorities in your life, basically keeping yourself alive and warm, or out of the heat, that sort of thing, that's prioritized. But then when you get off a job, when you're done with your week, you just want to waste time.
Right.
you're done, and it's like that because what your dreams are dreams, but they're still work.
Yeah, and at
You know what
some
I mean?
point you have to have that unwinding, get away from that.
Right. But then you start overindulging in that, and it becomes a regression. You start getting like way too comfortable with yourself, way too comfortable with whatever show you're binging, whatever song you're listening to, and it's like what it comes down to is you have to produce more than you're consuming, because that's what we are as people. We're consumers. We're constantly eating stuff, turning it into energy. We're watching programs, whatever, getting new ideas for different things, which isn't bad. But it's just like a business, man. If you're taking in more than you're spending, you're a successful business.
Right.
So it's like, which I mean, that's probably the opposite of that. But,
Well, no, I understand what
get
you're saying because, like with me, one of the things that allowed me to expand my YouTube channel is the fact that in January of this year, because I got to episode 100 and I was like, yeah, damn this, and I got a check. My first check was like $26, and I was like, oh shit.
Was that from views alone or advertising?
Yes, just from advertising, views and advertising, and I was like, oh shit, like appreciate you, YouTube. But then it also gave me a different look because now it allowed me to adjust my end goal. So then it was like, when I got to maybe 120 videos, a lot of people were like, hey, how can I donate? How can I help you build? And I would tell them, look, in order for me to build, this is what I need. So when I put that out, now I have a better iPad. I have better software. I have multiple platforms that I'm able to build on. I have more free time because I have more income.
Yeah.
I have a better camera. You know, GoPro Hero 7 Blacks. You know, shots out. But no, I have the option of now doing video in 4K or at 1080.
That flies.
Isn't it? Yeah, this motherfucker here. But at the end of the day, yeah, in the second laptop, now I have one that's dedicated just for my podcast. I have one that's
pimped out. Like I was looking at him over at that table. It's like, wow.
I got so many apples. Look, I got an orchard around here. But
that's
no,
a good joke.
I actually but yeah, I have two laptops. Everything I have pretty much is a Pro. It's Apple Pro. The Pro iPad 12.9. The MacBook Pro 15 inch. The MacBook Pro 13 inch. I've got the pencil. I've got, you know, Logic. I've got Final Cut Pro. I've got education that I'm taking. I've got classes that I'm doing. But it's also in the fact of now I've got all these plugins. I've got these other avenues which are being, you know, kind of compounded, and I'm learning how to use GarageBand. I'm learning how to use these plugins. But it's all because of the first part of what you're saying. My persistence that was already afforded to me from one place got supplemented. And everybody's not able to get to that point.
Yeah.
Because like right now, you're looking, I guess you're looking at, quote unquote, that breakthrough moment. You're looking for that area of, I've done it. This is it. Now I can focus here.
Well, and it's like the paths that I want to take. I actually have a question for you after this one.
Okay.
It's like the path that you take with artwork and everything like that. I see these artists out there that are arguably very talented. And there's some that are just, they prefer to kind of stay in the dark. Either they have a comfortable job or it's just a hobby. And then they sort of just become well liked by the amount of artwork that they put out,
Right.
and the quality. And it's like they obviously have a very clear vision of what they want and how they make it come to fruition, and then they slowly snowball the views and the followers and everything. But it's like somebody like me, I see a lot of these people that are just whoring themselves out for likes and buying followers and all this sort of stuff. And I guess I don't know where I'm gonna be, but I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of, if you look at my page, I only have like 91 followers.
Okay, yeah.
Which is, which that tells me a few things. I'm not consistent.
Right.
in a lot of ways. I'm not consistent with uploads. I'm not consistent with the artwork that I produce. I need to get myself just set straight that I can find a schedule to, no matter what's going on that week, I'll have something for the audience.
Right. Because you have to make it a job. Because even when you're doing the dream chasing, there has to be an aspect of self-employment.
Right.
Because no matter what we're doing in life, we still have the 80-20 rule. 80% of all our work will be done on the front end. And we'll reap 80% through the 20 on the back end. And the difference is most people stop in the midst of that 80. Because just, what if I had stopped at 30 videos?
Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
there is no Supreme Decision brand. There is no Supreme Talk. There is no 160 videos. There is no secondary channels. There
I
are
can't
no
even-
other sponsors. There are no other things.
I can't keep track of you, man. Like, I'll see your Instagram videos, and then I've checked out a few of your YouTube, but then I'll see your podcasts and everything. And I'm like,
but you see
like,
how
damn,
it's morphing.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
morphing.
well, and whoever you don't catch the eye with on this end of the media, you'll catch it on the other one, or you have
Right.
a bunch of ways to funnel your audience into one spot, and it's like that takes talent. And maybe they prefer the podcast over the YouTube.
And here's the crazier part.
Mhm.
That wasn't the beginning. That definitely wasn't part of my goal at all. Because
Yeah.
one of the things I've told you this 100 times, and one of the things that you pointed out was like, yeah, your audio is trash. So you gave me a microphone.
Mhm.
He's like, yeah, use this. He's like, do you need anything else? Because your audio is horrible, dude. Like, quit recording it the way you're doing it. So now I've taken your advice, and I've allowed it to morph into the podcast, which is now 2 podcasts for the most part. And going through that, it's looking at accepting what you're offering as part of that 80, but also now it's brand building. But it's also brand building through persistence because I'm still in the 80.
Yeah.
You know, because the sponsors that are now coming in, I still have to work for them. I still have to do things for them. I still have to do placements for them.
But you can pick and choose those, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's still part of my 80. But the only reason I'm able to do, let me do this one for you, let me do that one for you, is because they're saying, here's some money. Again, it goes right back to that support system, that base that's set up. But had I not had something previous, had I not had people like you that say, you know what, you need help here, here you go. For whatever reason, you like, you know what, let me help this guy. For whatever reason. And I'm grateful as hell.
Aw.
And at the end of the day, it's allowing me to do something that one, cause I still hate hearing my voice, even though I yap fucking loud.
You got it.
But-
You got a good voice, man.
But I hate hearing it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's one of the reasons why I hate podcasts.
Okay.
And then everybody's like, "Oh, I want it longer," and I'm like, "But you know, well, let's do it longer." No. But I'm still figuring out how to give you an hour worth of content.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't want any music. I'm like, oh, some picky. But
Well,
it's understanding. It's again, those are my consumers,
Mhm.
so I have to give the people that because technically, if they're not paying me, Apple's paying me, Spotify's paying me. Shit, it's like 10 platforms that are paying me for people to listen, and it's like, okay, do I take that away because of my selfishness? But no, I actually put this out for people, not for myself, so because it's not mine.
Okay.
And I think that's how you look at your art. You're putting things together that you enjoy, but it's not yours. So you're putting it out for people to consume.
That's the huge difference. Is like once you actually put something out there for people, except it's not yours anymore.
Right.
It becomes the public's.
Right.
And so you want to take in any advice that you can get from anybody if they're willing to give it on how you can improve. And that's like I saw a spark of originality from you, like getting to talk to you and everything, and I could see your drive, and I admired it a lot. And it's like, oh, your audio's shit though. Here you go. Like that's
Like literally, that's what
Yeah.
you said to me, and it was funny because most people would have like, damn, he just said. But see, again, I'm not one of them sensitive dudes. I don't give a shit about my audio. But you're a consumer. Like, dude, your audio is trash. I can't listen to you sounding like that.
It was just sort of like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus, man. This is okay if you're on a mountain.
Right.
But no,
Yeah, like, dude, no. Clean that up. And then even doing that, getting the mic is now, okay, hold on. How can I clear up? Because the mic does a lot. But it doesn't do everything. Because I record outside like we are now.
Yeah.
And
there's going to be a crudeness to this audio, but it's
right.
Like, it's what makes it.
But I also understand how to clean this up.
Okay.
And that's because of the folks that have said, hey, your audio still stinks. Get this plug in. Here, take that for this plug in. Take this for that class. And it's, again, something that allows my consumers to be better, for me to be better.
Right.
And I think, again, that's the support system that you're speaking about in yours. Mm-hmm. And that's also the crux of where a lot of people fall into, because you hear people say, oh, dreams are for children. But the problem is we can't allow our children to dream because of the support system. Because the financial burden that we put out, because they still gotta fucking eat.
You gotta have a realistic view of it, and it's hard to find that.
Now here's the crazy part. What is real? Because when my parents, my grandparents, when they were growing up, the whole thing was, woman, you can't get a job, don't have to, because she probably wasn't going to be very educated. The man had to get a job, but he had to get something that was going to put food on the table, so he had to do something super steady. So get a job. It wasn't get an education, it was get a job. Okay. Then my parents came in, it was go to school, get an education, get a job that's going to have union and benefits, and you can work for 40 years and then retire. My generation, it was like, okay, you got to have a degree to get a job. And now we're literally in an age where you can literally do anything and make money from it.
And that going to college is a huge waste of time from where I'm sitting. Because especially when you're talking about the medical field,
right?
You just see a bunch of buttheads sitting around in scrubs with $40,000, debt in their pocket.
More.
It's like, yeah, or more. I remember the one college I looked at was like $60,000. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with going to college, but for somebody in my position, I don't have money. I don't have anything yet. But it's like you start setting goals for yourself. There's literally, you can just pop on the internet and start. That first mile is going to be hell. But once you start gaining traction, it's going to encourage you to go further. But it just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, like with me, getting to Video 100, it was the dumbest thing for me. And then, like I said, I was still just doing it just because I still saw there was a hole, there was a need for what I was doing.
Okay.
But then, like I said, what changed my whole vision was a check.
A check?
A check.
Oh, a check. Okay.
$26 is $26. But I was like, oh shit, I really can get paid from this.
That's $26 you didn't have before. Yeah.
But it was also $26 that came with a light. So a light.
Oh, like at the end of the tunnel?
Yes.
Okay.
Because now I can see the end of the tunnel, and it's like, no, there is no end. So it went like this, and then it went here. And that's why I understood when people say, oh, I have tunnel vision. And they'll say, no, I have funnel vision. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? Well, generally, if you look at a funnel, the bottom of it is like this. And then as you get out, it goes here.
Okay.
So now it goes back to one of the books I read when I was younger, which was Creating Multiple Streams of Income. And then you look at the greatest wealth builder is residual income.
Okay.
So now, as long as I'm putting something out that creates residual finances, guess what? Now I have to, what they call front loading. Because it's one of the things I used to do whenever I was trading stocks. I'd front load because I'm not going to chase it.
Okay.
Now I don't have to chase residual income because as long as my videos are up, I'm going to get paid from it.
Okay. Have you ever ran into any legal disputes with your videos or anything like that?
Yes, constantly.
Okay. Yeah. Do they get taken down or do they get private? Or
no. I had a couple that was made private, which I don't care. But most
those
of my
just
disputes
don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, most of my disputes are like the last couple ones where I use content from movies.
I noticed that, and that's why I was so
And
curious.
but the reason I do that is for shock value because I understand how the brain works. Because part of me learning marketing at one point was how the brain works with color, with voices. I know what appeals to people, and then I'll say something, and then it gets reinforced not only because it's being said by somebody else, but they're seeing it.
Okay, so you have a visual aid there.
And yes, but again, the whole point of what I'm doing is for people to retain it.
Okay.
Because now they'll hear it and then they'll see it and now it'll go right back to what they just watched. So now it's, although it's stuffed in their subconscious, they probably have to watch it 3 or 4 times to bring it out, but it's still something that's stuck back there because whenever a similar situation comes up or they watch that movie, some of what they've seen is going to pop up.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I want to make sure I did. Because the whole point of me doing it was, like I said, because it wasn't for me. I got it already. I've used it already. But it's for somebody else that hasn't used it, doesn't understand it, or even feel it's necessary.
It's for public consumption, yeah.
Right. So I'm giving you something that you're familiar with at the same time while giving you something that's foreign to you.
That's an interesting philosophy.
Right. And it's still understanding, like now here, like I said, it's branched out to podcasts. I'm working on, other little avenues because now I got things that I'm doing with my sponsors. I still have other channels that I'm working on. And I'm also working on the Supreme Decisions brand.
That's something I wanted to ask you because you were talking about self-branding.
Okay.
And you told me this a long time ago. You said people want to know you.
Right.
When it comes down to being I hate using the word artist for myself because I don't know. It just seems very cocky or kind of narcissistic. But it's
okay.
If it's what you're doing, if you think what you're putting out is pretty good, all right. When do you gain the title of artist or whatever? I mean, what didn't Aristotle say? You are what you do.
Yes.
So
what you do the most.
Yeah. So it's that's pretty much what I pour most of my time into is that.
Right.
So it's usually I like to let whatever picture I draw speak for me and just sort of see how people receive it. But also maybe putting up a few pictures from normal life, different things like that. And then finding a way, because I want to start doing that Let's Play. I've been talking to you about that for a while. So it's moving that kind of a YouTube channel, having the same username connected, and then start connecting, like you said, different strings of income, but not really starting out with income, just for fun, as a hobby, and see what kind of audience it builds.
Right. And the thing is, when you're doing that, it's almost a subconscious thing because no matter what you're doing, at some point people are going to see you. And the one thing I loved is Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson talked about everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then you see who they are.
That's a good one.
Now, when you're getting punched in the mouth in this, it's when your time is being constrained. Whenever you are, when this actually becomes a job, when social media becomes a job, that is your source, that is your drive. Then people see who you are. Because I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing ever. One day I was having a conversation with this guy who wanted to do a sponsorship with me because I originally started a fitness channel. Well, as you see,
really?
I'm not fitting anymore. Okay. I'm not lifting weights anymore. I'm not doing this other stuff.
That's right. You had a couple of gym videos, yeah.
So he asked me. He said, if I go on your Instagram, what is your niche? What am I gonna see? What is you? And I cracked up laughing because I was like, oh, well, yeah, blase, blah, blah, blah. And I clicked on mine shit. And I'm just going up like, oh, shit, my brand is me. I did not realize, because I hate taking pictures, I did not realize how much of my Instagram was face shots.
Okay. So
I
guess my brand is alien, half-naked alien chicks. There you go.
With big breasts. And the funny
Check it
part
out,
about
Miles Avery.
Yeah. Well, the funny part about it is the fact that I had no clue. Most of mine was Adobe Digital Art, Adobe Spark, shameless plug. But I use Adobe Spark a lot. I love it. It's one of those things where I can go in and bloop bloop, change this, change that, flip that around, and resize this. And in fact, for my podcast, to introduce my podcast, it was something that was already done. I just stuck my picture on it with my headphones, and I think I'm sitting in front of my mic.
It's usually something like, or just.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a you face. My all-time favorite picture is you in that big-ass cowboy hat.
Oh, Jesus.
That is the most. I want to do a painting of that.
You know what's
it's
funny?
Gorgeous.
You know what's funny? I'm gonna do a show because actually, one of my viewers sent that to me.
Really?
And I told him, I said, I'm gonna do a show with it. I was so uncomfortable with that hat. I'm not gonna lie, but I wore it all day.
Is it too like small for your head?
I don't know what the hell it is. It's a goddamn cowboy hat.
I'll never forget my dad wore that to like a straw cowboy hat to a Canfield fair, and I was like, Dad, no. If you think I'm white in the big forehead,
Oh Jesus!
meet my father. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
But no. The funny part about it is the fact that when you're looking at these things and you're understanding where you're trying to go, it's the true me came out because, like I said, the one I was doing it was perfect. When I saw it, it just hit me, and it says, "I don't want to be heard. I want to be listened to." And then I put Apple Podcasts or on iTunes or something. But that's the whole thing. I don't want you to hear me. I want you to listen. Because listening allows you to accept and consume it. Because that's the whole point of it. The consuming from the consumer.
Okay.
And again, that was my original purpose because it's, and I keep saying it because it's not mine. Because hell, the person that made decisions, it wasn't theirs. It was for something else. But most people, I was put in a position to where literally it was a life outside or a life inside prison. So I had a choice of learning it. My choice was, yeah, don't feel like going to prison. Definitely can't give you life in prison. And it was a point to where I wasn't scared. And I think that scared me the most because I wasn't scared.
The chance of going to prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those, because even now, I have a surreal look at certain things. And to me, I call it a dangerous confidence. And it's not necessarily confidence, it's just like I have no feeling about it whatsoever. Because I had a lady tell me, "Oh, you're a narcissist." Like, you know, I'm far from a narcissist. I'm arrogant as fuck, but I'm not a narcissist. Because at the end of the day, a narcissist looks for somebody to blame. No, I accept me.
That's one thing I did notice about you from the very beginning. It's just like Kim had her little dog. She's like, "Isn't he cute?" And you're like, "No, he's not." And that's like, I'm such a people pleaser. I have to be friends with everybody, sort of thing. I'm a stick man in a lot of ways, and
Okay.
I'm like trying to break free of that
Right.
by just being myself. And if somebody that I don't want is on my doorstep, I have no problem telling them to leave. I know my own boundaries, sort of thing.
Right.
But like that's what drew me to you, is because you were just very much that way. Like, no, shut up. Like that's it. It's beautiful.
And
But you're not rude about it. You just say what you think.
yeah, and what was funny is I'm glad you said that because even the one thing that caught everybody's attention, even during the trial, whenever I had filed a motion to represent my own interests in this RICO trial, and the judge goes, "Why should I say that you're competent to represent your own interests?" I said, "Because I have a driver's license." and that's pretty much what went across. Everybody chuckled. And she just looked at me. I said, "Okay, how about this? I've passed the Georgia real estate exam twice. I passed the Georgia insurance exam twice." I said, "I've also," she was like, "Nope, that's good enough." It's like, okay. And what was funny after that was the fact that I'm never gonna forget this. After we did the closing and after we did the trial, John Melvin came in and he said, "You performed." His words. "You performed in a manner we did not expect." And I said, "The problem is, y'all were trying to assassinate my character. I'm not acting." So when people say, "Oh, I'm a tell about this in your past," who gives a fuck? It was on the newspaper. Like literally, my life was plastered all over everywhere. So like, yeah, you're gonna do damage control, bastard. I was actually number 10 on the domestic terrorist list. What are you gonna say that's worse than that?
I think that's something that's super unusual and frightening to most conniving figureheads is that, like, you don't have anything in the shadows. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, personal stuff that I don't even want to know about you. But, you know.
Say, who told you about that fella? No. But you know.
Who told you about my browser history?
I'll tell you about that too.
That's another thing. Yeah. I've heard way too much about that.
Yeah.
But that's one thing where it's like, there's no farce. There's nothing for you to hide, and I think that's super important in any respect. Even with something simple like making something for other people to consume commercially, like on social media or whatever. Just be you.
And I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's the most difficult thing for everybody. Because number one reason people fail in business is because one, they're going into a business that they have no clue of, and then two, they don't tell anybody the business that they're in because they're afraid of the criticism. They're afraid of somebody being blunt with them. They're afraid of accepting help.
Right.
And because what I looked at with you was you were offering help. Like, you saw a problem and you offered a solution. Like, your audio is trash. Here's a microphone, bastard. And most people don't know how to not only ask for, but they don't know how to accept the help. Because it was like, I think my first 10 videos, somebody was like, you get random ass comments. Dude, quit sitting in front of the sun. Quit doing this. Quit doing that. And again, I could have said, yeah, I was horrible. My first 10 videos are trash. Like, I look at them and I'm like, I can't.
Somewhere, though.
Yeah, I can't read this. Well, guess what? Because I'm sitting in front of the sun, goddammit, and I'm using yellow. What do you call that? The graphics.
Looking all shiny and shit with the sweat. Yeah.
So yeah, but now I took that quit sitting in front of the sun as to stop sitting in front of the sun.
Find a shady spot.
You know, I mean, but understand, I still need light. So how can I get the right light? How can I get the? And then at the end of the day, now I learn how to code grade. I learn how to do other stuff. I can play with this, just like I'm gonna fix today's audio. And I actually had a podcast with me, myself, Richard, and Cassie. Cassie was sitting away from the mic. Me and Richard was next to the mic. She has a soft voice. So it took me 2 weeks to not only find the frequency of Cassie's voice and to take out the background audio, but also bring hers up front and elevate it.
That stuff is microscopic.
Exactly.
Oh,
but
Jesus.
That came from me learning how to kind of play with the audio.
Yeah.
It came from people supporting my persistence. And I think that's where more of us has to figure it out. Hey, how can I help this guy? How can I help that? Because I think that's where it comes from when people are talking about, okay, you got to pay it forward. You got help, so you got to help somebody else. And that's one of the reasons why I think, for the most part, we have to be more vigilant with our dreams. Because we have to, even though it's a dream, we still have to have a plan.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail, period.
Well, and that's what you asked is, like, what's real to you?
Right.
It's like, well, it depends on your circumstances. If you're single, like, you know, I am, like, no responsibilities for the most part. Like, you just have to pay for your apartment.
So you have responsibility.
But you don't have a family to provide for, you know. And that's like, I've heard some people put it bluntly, like, oh, it's all dead weight. It's like, well, it depends on what your priorities are, man, and what you want out of life. But, yeah, being realistic in the sense that you have this dream and it's really something you want to do, but you got to take care of the shit that can kill you first. this is absolute real life stuff. This stuff is nice, but it's a luxury.
Right.
You know, it's not essential to your survival. And then once all that's taken care of, then you can start building. And you can, you know, take it easier with it and then really listen and start getting your own voice with it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think that would be my answer, just kind of circling back like a donut to what you said earlier is what's real. That's all I meant by that. Is like,
that's actually a great point. Definitely a great view on it. Because, like, for me, it's because even you brought in the family dynamic, and because I had a friend of mine, he came up with, he asked the question, when should you have a discussion about marriage? My response was first date. He was like, oh my God, if a woman talks about marriage on the first date, and now hold on, I see your face. I'm out of there. I said, here's the great part about that. If she has the knowledge and you have the knowledge of what's expected, because one of the viral videos right now is this dude that was dating this chick. He gets down, he has a microphone, he has these people videotaping, he's out in public, and he proposes to this chick and she goes, no. She leans over to the mic and says no and then walks off. That's because he didn't have a conversation.
there was no communication there, yeah.
Like, he might have been thinking, okay, I'm looking for somebody to be married to at some point. That doesn't mean it's going to be you, but I'm looking for somebody. And she might say, I'm looking for somebody to be married to. Or they might say, I'm just looking for fun.
I'm having fun,
and I'm going. But that needs to be said up front. And it amazes me the amount of people that don't want to have an honest conversation. And it's amazing to me how much adults lie.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what kills me is these grown-ass people talking about sneaking. I grew up so I could stop sneaking. Oh, I gotta sneak out. Nigga, from where? Would you live with your mama? You gonna get a whooping? And
This is too real for me.
But at the end of the day, I mean, because for me, that's some real shit. Now, if we have an agreement, let's keep the agreement.
Yeah.
Because just like I had a conversation with a young lady, because we were talking. Everybody was. It was actually a group because we were getting ready to play a game, but we were all watching the game. And somehow we got on the point of these chicks that would have babies, right? And this chick goes, oh, I have your baby. And I said, oh, no, what the fuck you want? And she goes, why not? So I'm glad you asked. I said, because I would be the essence of a deadbeat dad. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, the second you tell me that you are pregnant, I will bust my phone on the curb and I'm leaving town. I'm going to delete all my social media. You'll never hear from me.
Oh, Jesus.
And she was like, you're serious? Yes. You will never hear from me again. And I don't hear nothing about how you're talking. Because I don't want any more children.
Yeah.
And the problem is, you have.
But isn't that your own fault if that happens? I mean, if you get a woman pregnant, then it's like
it takes two people.
It takes two people, but you're half
But
the
if
problem.
I have that agreement up front.
Oh, well, yeah. You're making a good point.
Yeah, we have an honest conversation up front.
Yeah.
Because even in that, let's say
Well,
my 80% plan, because even when we're having that dream chasing thing, to introduce anybody else to it, or even if you have the family before you, there has to be a conversation about the persistence of it. Because no matter what, you still got to invest that time. Because that's the one thing you can't take away from any of the 80. 80 requires the time. Because just like you put in 40 hours a week at your regular job, guess what happens? You have to put 40 hours a week in for yourself. But if you have a family dynamic, guess what? You still got 8 hours in a day left after you put in 16. Okay. So how much of that is for your children? How much of that is for your wife? How much of that is for sleeping? How much of that is for eating?
Yeah.
So again, you have to understand that 80 still doesn't change, but you still have to be able to have honest conversation so you can actually still set up that support system even with that family dynamic. But the greatest part about that is, like, right now you're young. So a lot of your opportunities for support outside of your family are limited because the jobs that's going to be available to you are going to be limited.
Yeah.
And then, let's say you're going to college, that limits them even further because you're gathering debt, you're setting yourself up for a better financial future, and the more you take away from that, because if you're failing, because the lower you are in your class, even graduating, you're still looked at as for the lesser parts of the qualifications for that job.
Right.
And most of the time, if you are going to college, you're not a self-starter. You're not going to be a motivated person to do anything on your own because you're going to need that structure. And as long as that structure is not there, it's going to be more difficult for you to put in that 40 hours a week for you to build on your persistence.
Well, and I think what you're touching on too is like a lot of this, because like college is already a failed business proposal. Like,
okay,
give me, I'm gonna borrow money. So get this, I can be a nurse or a doctor, and it's like the people that are getting these college applications. They ain't gonna be a doctor, but they'll give them the money anyway. And it's like, Jesus Christ, all these people are going to... And it's like, I think, when you're self-motivated for a dream that you have for yourself, there is a point where you have to pay your dues. Like you were saying, like, learn how to manipulate the audio. You took comments from people, you learned how to formulate it properly, and then your production value increased.
Right.
And it's like with my artwork, like I still have a lot of like my old pieces on my Instagram page that I've moved up from. I think I'm getting better.
Right.
But it's like, how can I constantly improve? And it's like, before you reach any sort of recognition or not, I guess fame's the wrong word, but just something where you're rolling in some money and you're able to you're noticed. You know, it's like you gotta put the work in first.
Right.
And then it'll come easier.
And see, and like you even said before we actually started, you were like, give me some feedback because nobody gives me feedback. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes it difficult because it's like, okay, I'm trying to tailor this, but this is what I enjoy doing. Give me a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
What is better? Because as far as I'm looking at, because like me, I'm putting out these ragged ass videos and I'm like, these look great. These sound great. If nobody's telling me any different,
right,
are they helping me?
That's
but
like
I'm not putting together a better product. Now I have a better quality product than I started out with, but it still has a lot of room for improvement.
Sure. When it's like the moment that you think you can't learn anymore, you fail. It's.
I'm glad you said that.
You gotta keep the mind of a student, even when you're a master. You know.
I don't use that term, but I always tell people I'm not grown because the people that learn the most are children. I keep the aspects of a child. The stuff I teach is so simple a child can understand it. And it amazes me the amount of adults that don't. But I'm glad you said it because that's how you have to be. You have to keep a child's mind when you're absorbing something.
Sure.
Because you have to be able to accept the criticism. You have to be able to accept the negative. You also have to be able to decipher these trolls that are going to be out there after you because the one thing people hate is success.
Sure.
And
they'll try to pull you back down to their level.
Because it amazes me because like one of the guys I watch is Tommy Sotomayor. Now,
I'm sorry, run that by me again?
Tommy Sotomayor.
Okay.
Now,
is that like a soy sauce?
No, he's a guy. I actually met him years ago.
Okay.
Like we weren't like friends or nothing, but we were like passerbys, and he has a YouTube show. He has several YouTube shows. He's a comedian, and he used to be.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about him a while ago.
So I watch him, and I put into practice a lot of the stuff that he does because he has a great business sense, and people don't like him because of the way he characterizes certain things. Because he uses, I hate black women, I hate weed, and keep in mind, he's not talking about a skin tone. because I think that gets lost because that's the easy.
He's talking about the attitude.
He's talking about a behavior.
Okay.
And the people that watch him and follow him, they understand he's talking about a behavior. And when people they notice in themselves, oh shit, I do that. Like, oh shit, I'm a BT. Like they even call into his show to tell him I was a BT and now I'm not. And I was an Ed 209. And it might sound crazy that I follow it, but it's the simple fact that you're taking something that's already been done and I'm putting my stuff on top of it. That's it.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of great points when he's speaking. I actually texted him a couple of days ago, like, oh shit, I'm using part of this video. He's like, cool.
Okay.
But it amazes me the amount of people, because he's a successful person on YouTube. He's been doing it for years, but he's been consistent for years. He's put in the work. He's now on the back end of the 80. He's not at the 80. He's on the back end of it.
Okay.
So he's reaping benefits. He's taking vacations. He's getting the cars and houses that he wants. He's getting them how he wants. He's getting up when he wants to. But the whole thing is to getting to that. And the amount of people is like every year he's got 4 or 5 new people that attack him. And they just make up crazy shit just for him to respond. And then as soon as he responds to, oh my goodness, blah, 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 blah. But he's responding to people that aren't consistent. They don't have substance. They don't have their own, they're not being themselves.
Right.
So they don't understand how to put together their 80. They don't
so
understand.
Their argument just falls flat. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're sitting there doing something and they're not understanding the persistence. Why? Because they still don't have that support system. They don't have, he can do that. Why? Because he's already broke through. They are nowhere near a breakthrough. And they're trying to use, like I hate to say it, the 50 Cent method of getting famous. Because 50 Cent's first album, he went at everybody. Nobody knew who he was until Jay-Z pointed him out. Said, I'm about $1, what the fuck is 50 Cent? All of a sudden now everybody like, who is 50 Cent? But then he blew up. And now, you know, all the extra stuff that comes with it. But it's understanding, like, everybody's attacking him because of his success. It's not that he's doing anything wrong, not that he's not putting out substance. It's the fact that he's successful, and they're trying to figure out how to get there and take a shortcut and do it. And unfortunately, you can't shortcut the 80.
Yeah.
And I think the 80 is the most difficult. That's why it's up front. Because we see a bunch of people in the 80. We see very little in the 20.
Okay.
Because you see 20% of Americans own 80% of America. Isn't that amazing?
Jesus.
20% of Americans own 80% of America.
That's true.
The top 5% own the majority of that. But and here's the even crazy part. Most of the wealthiest people on this planet are not college educated because they were able to follow their dreams. They were able to trace. They were able to be persistent. And I think that's what we were trying to do, is show that there's a level or means for the persistence, but it's keep being persistent until you get a breakthrough.
But yeah, that's one thing I would say about yourself is like I know you're from what I can tell, you've had a very interesting life. On top of it, you've been very successful with it. And it's like, to look at you, like, you walk everywhere. You, I mean, you dress pretty good, but it's like,
You have no fucks.
yeah, it's like you're just done. You're like, and that's like the mark of intelligence is like these people that are like, brush over every day. Steve Jobs wrote the same thing every day. Nobody's concerned about it. Look at Bill Gates. He dresses like a nerd, IT nerd from like the 90s, but he's one of the wealthiest men on the planet.
Sam Walton drove a beat up F-150. Like, it's understanding and accepting. And that's the problem we have with most people. They don't accept themselves.
Yeah.
But they want everybody else to accept what they have an idea of.
Well, it's like Fight Club, man. Like, we're buying shit with money that we don't have to impress people we don't like. And
That
it's
gives
like,
zero shit about you.
yeah, exactly. If you, that's another quote. Is like, you wouldn't even consider half like what people think of you if you realize how little they do actually think of you.
Right.
It's like you're just. Did it go off? No. But you you're a scumbag anyway. Like, just make the most of what you can, put everything else aside, and just work your ass off. And that's what I'm slowly realizing, what I'm trying to get myself up to. But, you know, it's tougher than it looks.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of gotta be, you gotta punish yourself. You have to be disciplined, and it's like,
And nobody's disciplining anybody.
no, dude,
We're
this
in a
generation
microwave.
sucks.
Yeah, because we're in a microwave society. Everybody wants everything right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. That's why you have, get your college degree in 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And then you find out, I can't get a job because you didn't learn shit. Like, at the end of the day, it's, you know, because I actually did a video the other day, and I did one a couple months back, but I talked about because I hate the dumbest shit in the world. Oh, I'm a snack. You know, a snack causes diabetes and health problems. I need you to be a whole meal. These little quick-ass colleges are snacks. That's why you can't do shit with them.
That's like
Go get a whole
yellow
meal. Get your bachelor's degree. Get your master's degree. Get yourself and do something with substance.
There you go.
And the reason why I think my channel is growing the way it is because I offer substance.
You offer protein. Not
I got your home cooked meal. I ain't got no snacks.
There you go.
And that's but that's also helped me with my persistence because I'm giving people something with quality. And even if, and like with you, you keep giving your art because whether you know it or not, people like it, people love it. But you got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it because at some point, that 80% time will catch up, and you will have your breakthrough. But it's the point of like, God damn, man, is this ever going to go through? And the
like,
problem is,
I know,
a lot of people, just like you were saying, they want it for themselves. Remember, your art is not for you. Your art is for the world. As long as you're producing for somebody else, you'll get the blessings from it. But as long as you're doing what you're doing every day that can't put a smile on your face, can't help you sleep better at night, it's going to cause you issues. You're not going to get your breakthrough. And I think that's where a lot of folks fall short on their dreams because they're doing their dreams for themselves, not for the betterment of everyone else.
True.
So,
That's a good place to end, I think.
yes, sir. I appreciate you. Enjoyed you.
All right.
And we'll have to do this again.
Soon, man. Soon.
And yes, we'll see you guys later.
Stay
And
quality.
that's Matt Damon Stunt Double. See you next time.
Later.